Hi, today is Friday, January 11th, 2023. I'm sorry, today is Thursday, January 11th, 2023. Today is the last day for me to work for the week because tomorrow is a day off. I would be mostly likely be traveling to Pyeongtaek or Camp Humphreys or USH Humphreys to buy a TV set, 85-inch wide TV screen, smart TV off from the American contract. I think it doesn't look like he or she is a soldier. So I really hopeful that I would have fun over there. They have a nice kebab shops in front of the front gate or main gate. And when you buy a kebab, you need to use your credit card or cash. But most of the times I use credit card. So let's find out what happens when we swipe our credit card on the machine. Like yesterday, we covered the cat cardholder activated terminals that are used in the vending machines, food vending machines, ticket machines, gas pumps, or automated fuel dispenser, which is quite a fancy name for a gas pump. So, and also, I would like to read this article not only as a part of my curiosity about the knowledge, but also to practice English by reading it every day, right? I usually read a English article of 20 to 30-minute length. So let's delve in. By the way, I've never read this article. I just picked this article a minute ago. This article is from full.com and the Ascent, the monthly full service. Here's what happens every time you swipe your credit card. Published on February 25th, 2023 by Matt Frankel, CFP, Chief Finance, I don't know, Certified Finance Planner, maybe, Financial Planner. Many or all of the products here are from our partners that compensate us. They pick up premium on this. It's how we make money. But our editorial integrity ensures our experts' opinions aren't influenced by compensation. Terms may apply to offers listed on this page, of course. They get compensated for this article. Key points: when you swipe your credit card, the money moves from your bank to a merchant's bank account. There are several intermediaries that help facilitate credit card transactions, and all of them get paid each time you use your card. Intermediaries. That's good word, man. Please line it, right? Intermediaries. Several intermediaries. Many merchants have started adding credit card surcharges to pass these costs to the consumers. Merchants, right? Merchants. Surcharges. Yesterday we learned the word chargeback, right? Chargeback. It's more like a mileage in the sense that you get refunded, right? You get your money back, chargeback. Surcharges, merchants. Check out our picks for the best credit cards. There are several intermediaries involved in credit card transaction, and they all get a cut of the money you spend. They all get a cut of the money you spend. That's another good word expression. There are several intermediaries involved in credit card transactions, and they all get a cut of the money you spend. They get a cut of all the money you spend. There are several merchants, intermediaries involved in credit card transactions, and they all get a cut of the money you spend. Get a cut. When you swipe your credit card, it allows you to instantly borrow money for purchases and may earn rewards. But have you ever stopped to think about what is actually happening behind the scenes? Here's a rundown of what actually happens. Rundown, that's another good word. When you use your credit card to pay for a purchase, including which companies take a cut and how much the merchant actually gets. Here's a rundown of what actually happens. Here's a rundown of what really happens. What actually happens. Here's a rundown of 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 what actually happens. The mechanics of a credit card transaction. Without getting too complex, let's consider what happens in a basic credit card transaction. Without getting too complex. That's another good expression, right? Without getting too complex, or cut the shit out and get down to the business. To keep things simple, let's assume it's a domestic purchase made with a card issued by a U.S. banking institution. As a foreign transactions add another layer of complication, this is why many credit card issuers charge foreign transaction fees. Another layer of complication. It's a domestic purchase. To keep things simple. There are generally 4 parties involved in a credit card transaction. These are the merchant, POS provider, Square, Toast, etc., payment network, Visa, MasterCard, Amex, etc. Payment network, right? Yesterday they are called payment network. Issuing bank, the merchant, POS provider, Square, Toast, etc. Payment network, Visa, MasterCard, Amex, or smatr in Korea. Issuing bank. In a nutshell, to be succinct or to summarize, right? To keep things simple. In a nutshell, when you swipe your credit card at a merchant's POS, point of sale, right? Point of sale, not point of sales, point of sale. The plural form is points of sale or POSes. Terminal, a payment network like Visa or MasterCard or whatever logo is on the card, moves money from the issuing bank to the merchant's receiving bank account. It's also worth noting that in some cases, the payment network and issuing bank can be the same company. Right. What's the, I don't know, in Korea, they're not the same. But in overseas company, maybe same. Or Japan, maybe same. Alright, I just shit. Terminal. It is also worth noting, another good cliche, it is also worth noting that in some cases the payment network and issuing bank can be the same company. It is also worth noting, in a nutshell, without being too complicated, to keep things simple, to keep things simple without being too complicated. American Express and Discover play the roles of both lender and payment network, a system that is referred to as a closed-loop payment network. Play the roles of both lender and payment network, right? A system that is referred to as a closed-loop payment network. Okay, so American Express and Discover, they also as a banking institution, so lender and payment network. So a closed-loop payment network, closed-loop payment network, not open loop. The flow of money, as we saw, there are several intermediaries in a credit card transaction, and it shouldn't come as a surprise. That's another good expression, that none of them provide their services for free. They are not a charity organization. You likely already know that merchants pay fees when accepting credit cards. Anywhere in the 2% to 3% range is typical. But many people assume that these swipe fees go to the payment network exclusively, while they actually get split among all of the facilitators of the transaction. Facilitators, players, right? And credit card network, swipe fees. Let's say that you buy something for $100. While the exact fee structure depends on several variables, here's what happens in the average credit card transaction according to data from restaurant POS provider Toast. Featured offer: save money while you pay off debt with one of these top-rated balance transfer credit cards. First, the POS provider collects an average of $0.77 or 0.77% of the transaction for providing the hardware and other infrastructure used to initiate the credit card payment. These companies often make additional money for providing software solutions to merchants as well. Software solutions, hardware, and other infrastructure. Second, the payment network gets an average of, $1.19 or 1.19% for facilitating the movement of money between the customer's bank and the merchant's account. Finally, the bank that issued the credit card, such as Chase, Citi, or Bank of America, gets an average of $0.73 or 0.73% as a fee for acting as the lender. So even if you pay your credit card balance right away and have no interest due, the bank is still making money when you use your card. And in the cases of Amex and Discover, they get both the payment network and bank portions of the fee because they are close to loop payment network, right? Payment network. Here's a graphical representation of where the money in a credit card transaction flows. Customer, Square, Toast, PayPal, $100. So the POS system gets 0.77. Chase Bank, American Bank of America, the lender, $0.73. Merchants only get 97.31 because they have to additional pay to Visa, Discover, the payment network, MasterCard, or smatr in Korea, or a PC card in Korea, $1, 0.19. Image source, Toast. When you all add these fees up, the average merchant is left with $97.31 out of the $100 transaction. This means the typical merchant pays 2.69% of each transaction for the convenience of accepting credit cards. Some merchants have been started to pass these fees along to the customer. If you ever noticed a credit card surcharge on your restaurant check, This is why credit card surcharge. The bottom line, accepting credit cards is a necessity of doing business for merchants, and that has become increasingly true over the past decade or so. That has been increasingly true. Even though it costs money to accept credit cards, many businesses are happy to absorb the cost due to the higher sales volume it provides and the relative safety of digital payments. The digital shift. They have to embrace digital shift, right? After all, that's another good word, good expression. Cash has its own risks, such as theft and loss, that are important to consider in the context of credit card fees. Alert, highest cashback card we've seen now has 0% intro APR. What is APR? Until 2025. This credit card is not just good, it's also exceptional that our experts use it personally. It features 0% intro APR for 15 months, a cashback rate of up to 5%, and all sum out for no annual fee. Click here to read our full review for free and apply in just 2 minutes. Our research expert, Matt Franco, CFP. Matt is a certified financial planner and investment advisor based in Columbia, South Carolina, and has been writing about personal finance since 2011. That's good. So the bottom line and so on. But I have to go to work now, so sayonara. Bye-bye.